Hello everyone. Hope all of you are doing good. And I'm Panita Ojha. I am organizer at Google Developers Group Adapper and Women Tech Makers Adapper. I'm a community enthusiast and I love organizing events. I'm Google Cloud Digital Leader certified, and I'm a Python developer by profession. So I welcome you all to this event, Setting the Stage for Possible. Setting the Stage for Possible Women Tech Makers Edition is an online event brought to you by WTM ambassadors from 8 different cities. And this is a part of our pre event campaign for International Women's Day. Via this event, we just thought of setting awareness for our International Women's Day event and also, develop an understanding about the theme Redefine Possible through experts talk and panel discussions that we have planned for today. So I would like to welcome our very first speaker, Shruti Tiwari, who is here with us. Shruti excels in e-commerce consultancy, product management, and product marketing with deep expertise in GTM strategy, brand marketing, and market research. She's a thought leader in software as a service and open source industries, and she crafts compelling content and value propositions to drive growth. Shruti has authored over 150 SEO based blogs and developed a range of technical documents. So, as ambassador of Women Tech Makers, I am remarkable facilitator and a GTM and Grammarly ambassador. She also spearheads content marketing and partnerships at Coffee and Commerce. So, welcome, Shruti. The floor is yours. And to the audience, I would like to tell if you have any questions during this session, feel free to post them into the comment section and we will take them towards the end of the call. So, yes, Shruti, the floor is yours. I'll just move backstage for now.
That's great. Thank you so much for the brief introduction, Panita. That means a lot. Also, another appreciation of thank you for inviting me to this event. That was sudden, but I think it's going to be a rocking one, and it's going to be immensely fruitful as well. So, without taking much time, I would just jump into the talk for the day, which is here on our screen, building scalable products. In here, we are going to explore how AI and ML helps in building scalable products. When we talk about scaling, it is just not about adding users, more and more users into your funnel. It's about handling complexity, maintaining efficiency, and ensuring growth at the same time. Now, as we all know, AI, it's just not a buzzword, which is like it's very common today. Like from your kitchen to your studio room to your workplace, everywhere you'll find AI in built stuff. The most because this is not much of an interactive session, because I'm the one here who's going to be speaking more, so I'm just going to give certain examples. We've seen AI, even if we talk about emails, we see how selectively and how smartly it categorizes different sections. Let's talk about spam folder, let's talk about primary emails, we can create labels. Now that's one example. Now, if we talk about our televisions to Spotify listening songs, everything is just AI based. Your YouTube playlists, everything. It's all your tailored per your interests, per your likings, and that's how you get the. Even if you're scrolling Instagram or TikTok or Facebook or any channel for that matter, it shows you the content per your interest. It's all AI in there. It's nothing but it's the magic of AI and combined with machine learning, and those are the wonders that they can do. So, to add, yes, they play a crucial role at every stage of a product's life cycle, from the very ideation to maturity, and we'll dive right into that. Before that, though Punita did a very descriptive introduction, I'll just take a second to walk through my um, through me. So I am a product marketing manager as of today, and I've been into the industry for over 8 years now. And yeah, so last year I just won the I Am Remarkable Awards for top facilitator in the APAC region. So that's a little bragging about me. And here you can feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn, wherein I talk all about um, products, your if you are somebody new and stepping new into your career and you need a little bit of advices here and there, or how to actually get your skills into the industry, gain visibility, create a brand, and all these thoughts and more. So that's all about me and a little bit stories here and there. Now I'm just going to cover up our roadmap for the day. So starting up, we'll start by understanding the artificial intelligence driven market and then how it aligns with product ideation and scaling. We'll end with actionable strategies and certain case studies and examples. Some of them I've already named as of yet. And then, of course, we'll have certain key takeaways uh, to proceed with. So, as I was talking about, it is not about just scaling is not just about adding in products or creating more features or just uh, launching an acquisition campaign or just going on in a new market, talking about a product, telling its features, getting more users into the funnel, and then just sitting with it. Because a product means it has to be optimized by and by. It's just like your muscle. It's just like your muscles, which needs a little bit of flexing every day. So it's more on about how you're going to enhance the usage of it, how you're going to add elements to it. um, it's more on the sustainable side of it, like how can you how can you grow without breaking the infrastructure or maybe increasing costs exponentially, like whatever your bandwidth was. So it basically helps businesses make more data driven decisions, automate processes, and optimize resources. So, in here on a screen, we can see about 90% of startups fail due to premature scaling. Now, that's the example I was talking about. Around 85% of AI-driven businesses reports increased efficiency because everybody wants quicker actions rather than diving deep into and working manually or staring at a screen for hours, or maybe if it's a hardware product, working on certain bugs, deploying codes. It all takes you much than you can expect. You have to invest on the manpowers, you have to invest your hours, and that's why your costing gets increased. So obviously we do see like AI reduces development cost by 30%, but not to say that it's here to take away your job. I have a fantastic example for that as well, which we'll be covering. Moving ahead, so up in here, we know how AI and product development syncs together. So we know it is revolutionizing product development by reducing complexity and accelerating time to market, which means that it is much quicker for you to get a feature or a certain tweak in your product and bring it to the market more quicker than it was possible earlier. Now, the other thing is with so many tools, namely Jira, ClickUp, Notion, Trello. So it helps us. It helps us and our teams to automate repetitive tasks. It could be all our testing, deployment, everything gets faster, ensuring that the delivery is comprised of the quality and not compromising with the quality, like bringing the quality but not compromising the quality. Up next, predicts the user needs with precision. Something I was talking about, that the content you scroll on Instagram or Facebook, or the songs you hear on Spotify, or the content you watch on YouTube, or any channel as for that matter, it's everything is per your interest. So the predictive models allow businesses to forecast customer needs even before when they arise, shaping all the data driven product roadmaps. So today we open an app and we're like, oh yes, they have this facility too. Oh, last I ordered was this. I think I'll need, and I, for example, I ordered some bread, and up in there we'll see the recommendations that okay, you can buy these things also. It could be sauce, jam, milk, anything that goes with it, just to help you more easily and make the season making easier decision making even more. And yes, continuously optimizes product performance. Now, beyond launches, AI continuously analyzes user interactions and keeps suggesting optimizations. So earlier, which we you we or any business used to do a lot of market research, go into the fields or talk to your audiences, customers, create stories, create their case studies, case scenarios, come back, do a manual data analysis, check in how your product is performing, create manual flow charts, whiteboards, and everything. But today, with the help of AI, we all know that it helps in continuously analyzing all our interactions, and basis on that it keeps on suggesting you optimizations, ensuring that the product remains relevant, high performing, and ahead of competition. Oh, I think okay. Yeah. So here's a quick overview of the various stages in a product life cycle, which starts from ideation, which consists of market research, of course, gathering customer insights, wherein you need to sit and know about your audiences, know about who are you going to target, what's the demand, what's the total market size that you're going to address to, how does your competition looks like, where are they, where they standing and everything, followed by development, of course, uh, optimizing your code, getting it tested, checking, running beta tests, checking if everything is on track or not, followed by deployment, which I was talking about earlier, how it is quick, how it is fastening the deployment role, which talks about auto scaling and cloud optimization. The next up we have is growth, whereas personalization and predictive analytics, which is mandatory and crucial for today's landscape, for today's commerce landscape, because you cannot bring in any product, or you cannot bring in any little thing out into the market if you are not reading or predictive your customer, and you're not bringing that touch of personalization. Maturity talks about AI driven automation and retention strategies. Because, of course, as I was talking about, it is not only about adding users, instead, it's more on retaining them till a longer time. AI driven automation, what does that mean? To keep them engaged for longer life cycle. Now, we know customer centric products, wherein we talk about that you're not just building stuff for anybody out there, but there are actual people who you are interacting with and for whom the product is catered to. So successful products which are built around customers and not just any random features. So, the artificial intelligence helps businesses identify and address real pain points by analyzing all the behavioral data. Something that I have been speaking so far. It's not just about bringing anything out into the market. You need to address the pain points. You need to focus on impactful features, but something that is relevant to the market out there. Uh, if I'm taking the example of Spotify alone, I know I will need segmentation of different song recommendations based on genres, different singers, different languages. Moreover, occasion wise, because we had just Valentine's just passed, Spotify knew that everybody is in a gloomy world or in a gloomy mood, and even those who are not, we'll suggest them something similar, bringing those pop ups, designing their UX accordingly, customizing their screens, their logos for a little time bit is what attracts the audiences at the end of the day, or is what is what keeps people interact with your product. So, uh, not talking in general or talking very narrowed down, it is always important to address the pain points. What are the challenges the market is usually facing, and then bringing out features or helping around the things, and then iterating or optimizing the features within real time, seeing how things are performing, taking help of so many tools out there today. We have mixed panel, we have so many things, understanding our audience's behavior, and then going on optimizing again, re-optimizing, and bringing the advancements and seeing the magic out there on its own. And finally, we have Spotify on the screen. So one of scalability, and I'll keep talking about it. So the biggest advantage is the scalability. It AI offers and helps us enable hyper personalization at a level that manual processes cannot match at all. After all, we are humans, and I do understand we are the ones training the AI to work quicker and faster, but still, I'm giving them a little tiny perk here, that they help us in bringing hyper personalization, tailoring things to the exact need of what the market needs, what and a person will need out of a certain thing. I'm just taking an example of quick commerce or e-commerce here. We have today in India and across, we are coming up with things. Even US, we have delivery, we have Uber Eats, and we have so many different brands out there who are bringing in quick commerce, e-commerce, fashion commerce, and fast and fashion and all these things. Now, here in AI recommendations customize experiences for millions based on their browsing history, purchase behavior, and preferences. Something which I was talking, how we get tailored suggestions, how we get tailored content out there. The first time I order something through Zomato or Swiggy, the next time it will show me recommendations based on my past history. Now, the other thing will be here is seamless integrations with other tools. Now, there are so many other tools out there. We have HubSpot, we have Freshworks, we have so much other tools. Now, uh, the flow or the swift and the seamless integration with CRM, analytics, and third party tools enhances its impact alone, which again allows businesses to create a unified and intelligent ecosystem. Most importantly, AI allows real time feature adoption, adjusting interfaces, workflows, and recommendations based on how users interact with a product, enhancing overall customer experiences. Up the next slide, I'm going to talk about something really crucial, which is that success is not just about launching a product, as I was mentioning. It is about ensuring continuous engagement and value delivery. Today we have Gemini, today we have so many other products out here. It's not only about launching the product, it is about ensuring continuous engagement, and the value delivered is meaningful and valuable. So the retention metrics tells us how well a product is keeping users engaged. Also, for those of you who are already into the industry, you would know that a high churn rate indicates gaps in experiences or feature relevance. It could be it does not imply that the particular feature or the particular side of the product is not useful for the users, but there could be certain gaps which can be easily understood or brought down with the help of AI today, and we can just understand these things and across towards our other retention metrics. Something that I am in today's date doing, understanding my audience's behavior, again going on coming up with different campaigns to keep them engaged, offering them tailored discounts, or bringing them other initiatives for them to again keep them, in the loop, so that they are frequently they have us in mind frequently. The feature adoption rates help identify which updates or functionalities are resonating with users and which ones need improvement. But of course, following the third point, and which is again crucial into any business, is that AI helps track real time usage patterns and highlights the highest performing features. This makes it easier to justify future development investments based on ROI evaluations, and thus you can allocate your resources even more effectively. Then this was all good things about AI. With good comes the bad, and we're going to cover all of it. So while AI is a game changer and a rocking solid thing boon out there, it does come with certain challenges. Now, first things first, data accuracy is key, and poor data quality can lead to flawed insights and biased decision making. So it's not just that you are getting data in any form or you're just relying to whatever is coming out there. So you need to cross check things, because yeah, we are pacing with the greatest speed, but as I was mentioning, AI is here, but AI is not here to take our jobs yet. um, Instead, let's just take it and deal with it as our next bench buddy, who's there to give us feedbacks, who's there to suggest ideas, tricky ideas, which our minds sometimes tend to overlook. And this is as simple as understanding. If we go back in around, say, 25 years back or something, I remember, that will help you understand my age as well. So I'm not going to put in more details, but let's just roughly talk about 25 years ago, when we were just kids, and it was the time when washing machines came. So if you people can relate with me, so what happened, I remember we had a Whirlpool washing machine with two different cabins. One was the washer, the other was the drying space. So what did it do? It did not completely vanish the human dependency, right? It was not that, okay, the washing machine has come into my house and it'll wash clothes on its own and dry it and fold it, do the laundry and give it to me, it's ready to for me to wear for the next day. Even today, we have so many smart washing machines coming up here. Still, the human dependency is there. We need to pick up the clothes, we need to put it inside, and we need to bring it out again, give it a little shrink, iron it, and then keep it properly. So just it did not mean, or even refrigerators for that matter, or anything as such, it is there to help us and not to overtake us. At the end of the day, it is us, the humans, who are creating AI and the apps and the products. We are the ones who are monitoring them. We are the ones who have given birth. As for Gemini, they call it, the Google call it their baby. So we are the one who are creating it. Needless to say that that they are going to overtake everything for us. So that's in here. We have to maintain a proper check and ensure. that the things are properly, how the prompts, because since it is in its advancement phase, it has a lot to learn yet. And also that users needs to be educated on AI benefits. Many users may hesitate to trust AI driven products, but then again we need to educate them, explaining how it enhances the efficiency, and also give them a hands up on how secure it is. Lastly, AI systems must be transparent and ethical, and companies out there need to actively monitor biases, ensuring fairness and comply with data privacy laws. And brands that prioritize trust and accountability do gain a long-term competitive edge for the longer term. With that, a little bit on the future of AI driven products. So, we do know that it's evolving rapidly and its impact on products will only grow rather than stop. So we have certain things that we are looking forward in the years to come, wherein voice and conversational AI will become the primary interface for many products, making interaction seamless and intuitive. We already have Siri, Alexa, so many out of them out there. So just in case if you are a budding developer, or you are somebody who's looking on to come up with certain initiatives of your own, you can obviously want to dive into this market. Again, we have augmented reality and visual reality combined with AI, which is definitely again going to redefine industries like retail, education, and healthcare by offering immersive experiences. Beyond engagement, predictive AI will reshape decision making, enabling businesses to proactively address customer needs before they arise. Something that I think I have covered already 2 times today. Now, finally, AI driven scalability will allow again companies and the entrepreneurs to expand products effortlessly, adapting to market shifts and ensuring long term growth. The future is but of course AI powered, and businesses that embrace this transformation will lead their industries. So yeah, I think I just covered this, and with that, I think I am good to go. So I'll hand it over to you, Punita. And
Yes. Thank you, Shruti. That was like a lovely session, and it was wonderful connecting with you online. And I'm sure my audience will definitely be benefited out of this session. Also, the recording for the session will be available later. I'll share the link with you, so you can also circulate it into your network as well. So, thank you for taking out your time on Sunday morning and spending it with our community here at WTM Adapur and GDG Adapur. Thank you so much.
definitely, it's thank you indeed for having me here, and I'll not have take much of your time, so you can get the show going. Again, wonderful initiative. I won't bring sounds, just
Thank you.
claps
Thank you
in
for
here.
joining in. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, sure.